Okay, just for some of the reasons why I want to leave Menards, my current employer, I don't want to bash them or anything, which would hurt me when I'm trying to go for a full time job at another retailer that is on the sales floor. You know, there has been since the day I started there at Menards as a cashier. They didn't teach me everything. Let's say they didn't teach me how to load a gift card. I think it was a customer that walked in my line, if I remember right, that had to tell me how to do it basically, which I thought was not good. Um, because when I was trained as a supervisor by Shopco, some of the things they told me is you cannot say um, you're gonna go out partying it up and getting drunk. You couldn't make your employees so scared of you either. Let's say you couldn't always be fair, as how Shaq said. But you had to make sure that they were keeping everything clean and well stocked. You know, and that you trained them on everything and made sure that they know what they're doing and everything that is going on. Because Shaco, they expected me when I was a supervisor to make sure my employees knew how to do their job and knew what was going on, any changes in that. And they expected me to go and tell the customers, I'm sorry, this is Shaco policy and we gotta follow Shaco's policy or we get some bad things that happen, so to speak. Um, so, and then I'll say this: there was also a lot of bullying at Menards by their customers, and some they at the time were working with me at Menards, but now they don't. So, I've had some. It's all kind of started like in November of 2017. Because, like Menards, they were saying that we have to ask for that Menards card or they're going to give us written coaching. We have to ask all the customers that walk in there, including employees, are you going to use a Menards card? Otherwise, if they catch us not using the Menards card, they'll write us up. So I had like one customer when I was cashiering yell at me saying, "You never ever ask me again if I'm going to use a Menards card. Because I never will," she said. I've had it. And then another thing Menards said is to scan each item individually. So I done that when I was cashiering. I had a customer yelling at me saying I was slow as a snail and calling me stupid, making me cry. And he said, "Oh, all these other ones, they'll just go scan it and go item quantity number." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, but my boss, Amber, doesn't want me to do that. She wants me to scan each item individually and make sure you got the correct item. Not an item that looks the same, but it's not the same really." So, and then I've had customers yelling at me saying, "Oh, I'm in a hurry, bag fast. Bag fast." So you would bag fast, and then they would also turn around, lie to the boss and saying that you bagged it incorrectly, and then they would, yeah. And I would be sitting there bawling, because I did nothing wrong. The customer would, so the boss would believe the customer over me, and I'm like, "Hey, the customer told me they're rushing me to." had customers that would call me an idiot, and then the next customer, and I'll tell you this, they came through the line and they'd be apologizing, and I'm like, you did nothing wrong. Why are you saying sorry? Someone ahead of you that was being a total jerk, basically, and acting like a 2-year-old in the store, you know. So, and, um, too, when I started at Menards, I started having problems with my, left foot, where I was having so much pain in my foot, then all of a sudden, I must have developed a pinched nerve in my left foot, so I do once in a while lose my feeling in my foot. So, so with, Menards, they, if I remember right, when it came to about December, they asked me, oh, do you want to be a cart pusher? I said, yes, and they said, well, we'll try you out and we'll re-ask you that question, see. But I'll tell you this before I go any further. When I started in, May of 2017, the original deal was I was supposed to be a cashier, but I think it was Trey, her assistant at the time, said, you'll be used as a backup cart pusher, and I want you to learn service counter and be used for that besides cashiering. Yeah, you're part-time, and then come July of 2017, I'll move you from part-time cashier to full-time hardware, since you were in hardware at Sears, and you won't have to be up here anymore. So, and he said, if I need you to push carts, you will then, won't you? And I said, sure. Because I just wanted to get out of Sears at the time before they closed their doors for good. I didn't want to go through a store closing. So, and I guess that never happened. So, yeah, and then I think about during, I think it all started like in October, and that I had like Maria Bannon. She would go and screech saying I was doing something not right for customer whatever, and she would threaten to get me written up, and I'd be sitting there bawling at work, and I'd be like, but then all of a sudden she would turn around when management was around, and she would act all nice as pie around me, and I'm like, I'd be sitting there with tears in my eyes, and they didn't ask what was going on. Yeah, and then like with manager Dan, and he done this up until I think he left in sometime of, I want to say 2019. I think it was last year's spring, and you know, he would threaten to fire me, and I'd be so scared, terrified if I seen him working. To the point where I started even recognizing the vehicle he'd driven. And when I got into carts, and this is where I kind of suspect I'm being staged so they can fire me, without me doing anything wrong. And I should have, you know, yeah, I should teach that, but anyway, with the cart pushing thing, as soon as they tried me towards the end of December, so the deal was you would be head cart pusher, you'd be training all our new cart pushers, you would never have to close, you'd be done guaranteed around at least 5 or 4. You wouldn't never have to work past then, was the original deal. And she said, I'll hire a whole pile of cart pushers. and you won't have to worry. And she said, I'll make you full time in time. I promise. And that was Amber saying that. And then when I tried that out, and she said, well, do you really want to be a cart pusher? And I said, no. She said, okay, I'll have you go back to being a cashier. You won't have to worry about it. And then the next day, I found out through service counter Haley, and she told me I had gotten the job, so they threw me in that job even though I declined it. So I'm like, okay, and I was surprised I didn't know. Because towards the end of my cashiering, that's all they wanted me to do is putting returns away. So I think even I offered her, I can cashier whenever you need me. She said, okay, I'll keep that in mind. So, so long story short, with the cashiering, they never used me on the register ever again since I think January 2018. But on and off was even when I was a cart pusher. Even there was times with the assistant manager Dan, he just had to give me the wrong look, and I was just doing my job, and he would all of a sudden yell at me in front of customers on the sales floor. I did nothing wrong, and he would threaten to fire me if I didn't move any faster or push way more than what I could handle. And I'd be like, oh gee. And them carts have real bad wheels, and so does the rails. And yeah. And I'd be sitting there bawling when he would do that, and I would be feeling like, oh God, I just want to go home. I just want to leave work and go home. That's how I felt like. Even I knew I couldn't really trust management there, because I'm like, oh, they would call you stupid and a moron, and then I would overhear Manager Dan saying about how he was going out and getting drunk and this and that, and I'd be like, I was trained for supervisory. That was a no-no. You can't talk like that, and you can't. And then he was showing favoritism and being close friends with that Lauren that's now got his job, and I'm like, Shako, they wouldn't have let that fly. I would have been demoted if I was friends with someone under me, because with Shako, I was not allowed as a supervisor to be friends with anyone under me or above me. They said it had to be the same level. And that means there was only two other people that were the same level as me. So, that's how Shaka was. I mean,